Howdy doodles, I'm Presby Kennedy, and this is a story about how a player made a cannibal and yelled at the DM when he couldn't eat human flesh. Welcome to Let's Make It Worse, the one-stop shop where we learn how to be the worst we can possibly be. This is a story I grabbed off of RPG Horror Stories, and we are going to find out how we could make this story worse. Alright, let's jump into the story. I ran a survival-based campaign where necromancers reign supreme and an unknown plague sweeps the land. The players need to gather allies to fight the necromancer and contain the plague, yada yada yada. So I had a rule that if you homebrew something, I have to approve it. Nate told me he didn't have a background. Okay, I guess. I can work with that. He also created his own race, the Gurks. Okay, I'll make that a human subrace since it's mostly human. Oh, also, I can understand bits of every language. Okay, no, you can't do that. Why not? That's completely broken. Fine. Then apparently he had his background at session 4. Okay, fine. Better late than never. He was a Gurk that was born and raised in a bin. He also apparently has a kingdom on the other side of the world. He's a king suddenly? No, you can't do that. Oh no, it's fine. They're across the world. Where? I gave you the world map. This. Fine. Then he tries to eat human flesh. That's a huge no-no for the gods and his character's health. It came completely out of nowhere, and I didn't know what to do for a few sessions. Someone recommended I make him roll con saves to resist negative effects of turning into a ghoul. Now, I did add this rule after a while of him eating the meat, but again, survival campaign. Food is scarce and disease-ridden. He gets pissed and starts yelling at me. Why are you doing this suddenly? You've never had me roll before because I didn't know what to do for the first few sessions. That's bullcrap. I'm not even human. You can't have your own race. You are a human subrace, and you never confirmed anything with me. Every other player reviewed their characters with me, and I knew their backstories. One didn't want to make their own backstory and asked me to make it for them. I did that, and they loved their background. That's not fair. It's in my background. You never showed me your background. You never asked me to. Yes, I did. I sent it to our Discord server and everyone else read it. We started arguing about his background, and I admit I shouldn't have yelled. Everyone was telling him to sit down and stop yelling at me. We ended up ending early as I grabbed my stuff and went to my room to put it away. My best friend came in the room and calmed me down, which I needed. I can't be yelled at without crying. We'll not share more on that. And when I put everything back, everyone had left. I'm going to take a break from D&D for a bit, and I even left our D&D server and transferred ownership to my friend. So how can we make this story worse? I think from the Dungeon Master's perspective, they tried to engage with this player with the expectation the player was going to act like a normal human being. What the Dungeon Master should have done was capitalize and introduce microtransactions to the campaign. Want to make your own background? $4.99. Want to make your own custom race against the Dungeon Master's wishes? That content doesn't unlock until session 6 and requires you to have this season's Battle Pass, which costs $10.99. Alright, so the next place I'd look to make this story worse would be with the player's suddenly acquired background and backstory. I cannot for the life of me understand why they stopped at being the king of a distant far-off kingdom. Why not go the whole way and say,
I'm the reincarnated prophet of the gods, sent to be a beacon unto the nations and lead them forward into an era of prosperity where I can eat people without being judged. Because when I was a young baby living in a garbage bin, my mother realized that I was the ultimate life form. When I could force conjure diamond coins out of air, that I used as magic arrowheads that could chase down evildoers who sought to corrupt our country. When I was 2 years old, I was well known within my kingdom's streets, and my name struck fear into the hearts of my enemies. I was given a position as the king's guard, and eventually his son realized he wasn't cool enough to hold a candle to me, and the king told that loser to get lost and took me in as his own son and raised me. From there, I established trade with an amazing doctor who found a cure to the plague and made me immune to the plague. Unfortunately, this meant I had to consume large amounts of human flesh in order to keep enough of the plague in my system so that my immunity kept going. Even though I feasted upon flesh out of necessity, I never forgot God's plan for my life, and I decided to turn my hunger into my strength by fervently hunting and eating my enemies. Sometimes, when I taste blood, I remember the face of my rival who I destroyed in an epic combat.
alright, final area we can try and make this worse. We have the player yelling at the Dungeon Master. D&D is a tabletop role-playing game. This is where I don't think the player needs any advice on how to be the worst. I can think of nothing worse than yelling at someone who was nice enough to invite you into their home and offered to run a game for you. If you yell at them to the point where you cause them to leave in tears, congratulations, you are the worst. Okay, So, being serious, please don't take any of the advice from this video seriously. I like that this Dungeon Master was bold enough to flat out say no multiple times. Unfortunately, this Kyle of a player only possessed 3 brain cells and was barreling towards an explosion. When you notice red flag tendencies from your players, it's important to have a conversation with them beforehand and let them know your expectations of the character and the campaign and find a common ground. And if you can't, inform them to find a different table to play at. OP, I hope you reignite your love for this game in the near future. Let me know in the comment section how you would make this story worse. Please subscribe to the channel if you want more content like this and give this video a like. It really helps me not be the worst. Have a great day. Bye!